Representing Autobahn tonight, we have Fuad, Dayyeh. Would you like to come up and say a few words? And thank you also to Marshall Bush, who helped us set up and did a lot of work for us today. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. We're honored to be part of this community. This beautiful place wouldn't be possible without you, without this wonderful city and community. I've worked in a lot of stores, and I got to tell you, there's something special about Belmont. So feel free to come and visit our store. It doesn't have to be an event. Come for coffee. Come say hi. We want to know you. We want you to know us. Enjoy your event. And if there's anything you need, please feel free to call on us for all your future needs. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And a special thanks to Joe Cox, the general manager, who couldn't be here tonight. But thank you, Joe. We are especially honored to have quite a few people here tonight. We're honored to have all of you, in fact. But let me start introducing a few people from State Senator Jerry Hill's office. We have Joan Dentler, who is also a Belmont resident for a long time and worked with the Chamber of Commerce, too, a long time ago. From Assemblymember Kevin Mullen's office, we have Mario Rendon. Mario. From Belmont Shores Elementary School District, Board President Rahila Pasu, Vice President Suvana Bhopal, Clerk Amy Koo, members Juan Fan, Amy Koo, Robert Tashian, Craig Goldman, Chief Business Official, and Dr. Michael Milliken, Superintendent of Schools. From Notre Dame de Namur University, Dr. Judith Krieg and Karen Schornstein. And Karen is also on the Chamber of Commerce Board. From the City of Belmont, we have Greg Scholes, City Attorney Scott Rennie, City Finance Director Thomas Phil, Planning Community Development Director Carlos DeMello, Public Works Afshin Oskui, Belmont Parks and Rec Director Bridget Shearer, Belmont Human Resources Director Cora Dino. And it goes on, wait a minute. Belmont Police Chief Dan DeSmit, San Mateo Consolidated Fire Department Fire Chief John Healy, and Deputy Fire Chief Kent Thrasher. And they're new as a combined fire department now for us. Belmont Treasurer John Violet, Belmont City Clerk Terry Cook, Belmont Information Technology John Jones, Belmont and San Mateo County Library Manager Kathleen Beasley. I saw her earlier walking around. City Council members, we have the Mayor and the former Mayor Doug Kim, former Mayor Warren Lieberman, Julia Mates, and former Mayor Charles Stone. And we also have with us tonight former Belmont mayors Gary Harris, Terry Cook, who was a former mayor, myself, and Dave Bauer and Kathy Wright. Belmont Planning Commission, Amy Goldfarb, David Kramer, Nathan Majeski, Tom McCune, and Carolyn Fitz. The Planning Commission is going to have a lot of work going on, and you'll hear about it from Davina. Belmont's really moving along this year. Park and Rec Commissioners Chair Carl Middlestadt, Ulfa Foscher, Thaddeus Block, Rich Bertoli, Chuck Cotton, Nikki Fox, Craig Michaels, Youth Commissioners Sam Hosmer and Andres Radavero. Belmont Infrastructure Ad Hoc Committee, Tom McCune. Belmont Measure I Advisory Committee members, Chair Richard Wood, Vice Chair Steve Hayes, Eric Raffin, Karen Shane, and Serini Tippacorn. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your names. Rethink Waste and Recology, we have the General Manager Mike Kelly here tonight. And I'm not sure if Gino Gasparini's here. I thought I saw him, but I'm not sure. And Tammy Del Bene. I think a few more. We have the past president of the San Mateo County Association of Realtors, Michael Verdone, Mid-Peninsula Water District President Louis Vela, Vice President Matt Zuka, Directors Dave Warden, Brian Schmidt, and Kirk Wheeler, and General Manager Tammy Reddick. Sequoia Union High School District Trustee Alan Sarver. Belmont and Redwood Shores Rotary Club President Dave Bauer. Belmont Chamber of Commerce Board members, myself, as President, Mary Morrissey Pardon, the Vice President, Lenore Griffin, the Treasurer, Jenny, where are you, Jenny? Jenny Dicker, who's our Secretary, Karen Schornstein, Vicar Michael Barham, Michael Kazarian, Jeff Smith, Chris Schobel, and Janet Pepe Davis, and Baram Mozayeni. Baram, I'm sorry if I screwed up your name again. And let's see. That's it. And finally, we did our gracious host from Autobahn. So now I'd like to tell you a little bit about the Belmont Chamber of Commerce. We're about to launch the biggest membership drive we've ever had, and this will be coming forth in the coming weeks. Okay, we're outlining more and exciting benefits to offer our members. An inaugural Belmont Water Dog Run was an event that we had this year on October 13th, and it was organized with Stephanie Davies as the race director. Stephanie's here tonight with her husband Mike Davies, and it was such a success that they're already planning next year's run, and it'll be held on October 12th. Recently, the Chamber joined with the Chambers of Commerce from San Mateo, Foster City, San Carlos, Redwood City to have a joint mixer. It was such a success that we're going to be doing that more often for our members to attend the big joint mixers for bigger networking. It's a big asset for our membership. The State of the City address is presented by Mayor Hurt. She serves as an inspiring recap of this year's events. The discussion highlights the monumental progression of the Belmont's quality of life. Additionally, the address also turns an eye towards the future as we learn all the programs and initiatives scheduled for the upcoming year. Let me tell you a little bit about Davina. Mayor Davina Hurt has practiced law since 2005. After studying at the International Institute of Human Rights in Strasbourg, she drafted documents for the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda and worked for Bay Area Legal Aid. She served as a judicial extern to the Honorable Judge James Ware, retired, while attending Santa Clara University School of Law. She was the vice chair of the Planning Commission in Belmont and ultimately elected to the council in 2015. Today, she sits as the chair of the Department of Consumer Affairs Licensing Board, director for Samaritan House of San Mateo County. She's the vice president, and Commute Organization, commute.org. Emergency Services Council, Notre Dame Denouement Advisory Board, South Bayside Waste Management Authority, and co-founder, vice president of Dem Friends of Silicon Valley and Engage Women of Color, and a proud member of St. James Church in San Mateo. And she's here tonight. Her daughter came with her, Annika, who is 14. Thank you for coming. Davina Hurt, welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Yeah, a little bit better? Maybe we'll adjust. And thanks for all the waters. I wonder how I can shift it here quickly. Can I give you, yeah. No, I'm good. Yeah, thank you. How about that? Is that better? Yeah. And in fact, how's that? Yeah. Much better, huh? Welcome, welcome. Good evening and welcome to Belmont's 2019 State of the City Address here at the beautifully remodeled Autobahn Mercedes dealership. Special thanks to the Belmont Chamber of Commerce for co-hosting tonight's event. In particular, Jenny Dicker of Intero Real Estate, a chamber member whose tireless work has made tonight's gathering possible. Thank you, Jenny. And to Autobahn Mercedes, thank you for your hospitality and generosity. I wish I could give each one of you tonight one of those beautiful automobiles, but then I awake from my Oprah Winfrey for a day dream. You get a car, you get a car, you get a car. No, really, truly, it's a privilege and an honor to serve as your mayor. Many thanks for those who sent emails, texts, and call. I appreciate all of your presence here tonight and at home. I'm thrilled to have my daughter Annika here. Annika, I've often heard, she's heard me say that well-behaved women seldom make history. So please save your misbehaving for college. Yeah? I want to acknowledge my skilled and dedicated colleagues, Vice Mayor Warren Lieberman, Council members Charles Stone, Doug Kim, and Julia Mates. It continues to be my honor to serve with you. To my regional colleagues, thank you for your partnerships across our cities and region as we move forward in service for our constituents. I'm inspired by the statement that power consists in one's capacity to link his will with the purpose of others, to lead by reason and gift of cooperation. To the first responders who work around the clock to keep us safe, to our skilled and dedicated city employees, some of whom are here tonight, thank you for consistently excellent work, all that you do on our behalf. We appreciate it. And to our neighbors and many of the business owners here in the audience, here's to a happy, healthy, and prosperous year. So when thinking about the state of our city, I wanted to tell folks about all that's happened since being elected to council and using those traditional lists of proposals and graphs that make our meetings so enticing and so enlightening. Like the details of our 5-year pavement plan funded by SB1 and the Belmont Voter Measure I, along with signaling updates at South and Tahoe Road that begins to address some of our mobility and traffic congestion. Our Ralston Corridor projects, finalizing our new Rethink Waste contract that is close to $1 billion, upgrades in City Hall for customer service, ADA, and security, our minimum wage increase, the list goes on. I began to bore myself when I started thinking of a PowerPoint that looked like this. So you might be a little disappointed. There isn't one behind us. All these projects and initiatives really do matter, but I want to take you on a journey through how the city impacts your everyday life with things both seen and unseen, and how individual stories have shaped my journey to positive difference, one that is very personal, truthful, and emblematic of the state of the city, both now and into the future. Some of you have heard me talk about getting off the elevator and being moved by the photographs of faces on the mayor's wall that don't look like my own, each with unique experiences and perspectives. Then knowing that my voice, my ideas, my thoughts and experiences are important because diversity of thought is strength and it reflects our unique community. And now when I get off that elevator and I'm looking at that wall of mayors, and I know someone doesn't have to look at that wall and think twice whether their unique voice will and can be heard, but see the possibilities as I have and hope that they will be inspired to build upon with more diverse faces, experiences, and ideas. This is Belmont today. Thank you. I come to you as a daughter of a teacher and a construction project manager whose grandparents worked in the steel mills of Gary, Indiana, and as a bricklayer and as a teacher in East Chicago. I used to go every summer as a child and learn so much there. I bring all those experiences to Belmont tonight, today, for our future, and obviously for forever. And as an attorney who has dedicated much of her life to serving others, as a strong single mom who finds it difficult to stay in Belmont, but is doing it, mainly because of my love for our city and our neighbors, which causes me often to think about the American dream. How do we together reignite, reinvent, and reimagine it for all who live in Belmont? So diversity and inclusion becomes the norm, not the exception. A place where our neighbors are filled with workers from all walks of life and economic backgrounds. Look around the room and see how enriching your conversations are and will be after my talk, because you come from different experiences, both personal and professional. And bringing the lessons learned through those experiences to the table of governance is essential. People will know that they will have a seat at the table no matter where they're born, what they look like, or what their socioeconomic status is. Each voice must be heard. The Council's 4 priorities this year brings us closer to that vision. We plan to continue economic development and revitalization with affordable housing units. We systematically continue addressing major transportation challenges. We are refining our financing plans for our public infrastructure and services, and we reaffirm our commitment to making park and recreation improvements. Realization of these projects and initiatives will help to bring color and light back to the dream. The state of the city is strong. We have a balanced budget with an increasing general fund exceeding our established goals. We've found a balance on residential regulations and zoning. We've added amenities to our community, such as the Veterans Memorial and the upgraded Teen Center, with many more things to come. And we've clarified our vision for the future. We're beyond planning for improvement. We are in the implementing stages. We are building a healthy, innovative, diverse, inclusive, sustainable community of the future with our new general plan, Belmont Village Specific Plan, and our Climate Action Plan, which I can't emphasize how important that plan is. We, like our neighboring communities, are finding ways to share and plan together without sacrificing what makes us unique. So moving forward, how can we reignite the American dream for all who live and work in Belmont? We begin by building ladders of opportunity so future generations can do better than their predecessors. While our area has benefited from technological change, these changes have left significant portions of the workforce behind or barely able to cope. As you have heard from many folks, that if you don't own your own home of many years, it makes it extremely difficult to sustain oneself here. For most, and impossible for others. And then others have never had the chance or the opportunity to own their own homes, and now find themselves the victims of ever-growing and unaffordable rents. How do we help and protect the folks who have contributed so much to Belmont, but now find themselves priced out? Part of the answer is to continue to refine and realize the plans we've been working on the past 5 years plus. Plans that will address the challenges of affordability and quality of life in an ever more challenging socioeconomic environment. Now, reinventing the American dream for greater numbers requires constant planning and piloting, testing to ensure that delivery of our critical services is not just sustained, but improved for infrastructure seen and unseen. Imagine this. The outlook for 2050 is that more than 70% of the global population will live in cities. Belmont, Redwood City, San Carlos. This is a fundamental demographic shift. So it is critical that we continue to invest in sustainability and resilience for both those who are coming to Belmont and those who are already here with growing families and plans to stay here for the future. Much of our civic infrastructure is more than 50 years old. It is the major vulnerability that impacts us and is common on the peninsula. There's no denying that these shifts in population will inevitably put a strain on energy, transportation, water, construction, and the establishment of public spaces for all. So, smart, efficient, and sustainable solutions need to be found now. It means proactively investing now in our water, waste, and energy systems. Waiting for failure is not acceptable. We and our regional neighbors must meet these challenges head on. For example, with our wastewater treatment plant, we are uniquely positioned with 3 other jurisdictions: Redwood City, San Carlos, and West Bay Sanitary District, and the JPA of Silicon Valley Clean Water, to having approved $850 million capital improvements for major sewer treatment and pipeline conveyance projects. In addition, the city is working on its own $50 million plus capital program to deal with its aging sewer collection system. And we will continue our forward movement with this 15-year capital replacement program. Towards future innovation and thinking outside the box, and more importantly, providing significant benefits to our ratepayers, there is an exciting and innovative technology that our sewer JPA is exploring in public-private partnerships with Mango Materials. It's a woman-founded team of engineers that figured out how to produce a naturally occurring bipolymer from our waste that is economically competitive with conventional oil-based plastics. So the possibilities of a larger scale to recycle from nature back to nature is amazing. And they're doing that with Belmont. They were just recently, in fact, celebrated one of the Innovators of the Year by Santina. Belmont Public Works is the backbone of our city. And while we can't fix all of our infrastructure issues immediately, we have plans in place to prioritize our projects in order to realize the most gain in the shortest period of time. Now, reinventing the American dream for some is not just owning your own home or having a roaring business, but it also has to do with freedom, mutual respect, and equality of opportunity that James Adam popularized and that Martin Luther King stated in his I Have a Dream speech. It is a rise in community spirit for a more just society with public safety and public places for everyone to freely gather. On June 21st, 1926, 42 men gathered in the auditorium of a Central Elementary School and organized the Belmont Volunteer Fire Department. Little did they know that Belmont would eventually take 2,677 calls for service. Now, despite a few bumps, I'm really proud to tell you all that we are Tri-City strong with San Mateo and Foster City with a consolidated fire protection formed under a joint powers authority. It is the first JPA to commence operations in the state of California in nearly a decade, a major milestone steered by Senator Jerry Hill. Today, our consolidated fire department is taking 15,346 service calls. Yes. And improving service with 4 new fire engines. This was a major accomplishment that took the willingness and risk of firefighters and managers alike to see the long-term gains and take a leap. We thank you all for making this happen. With our natural, beautiful hills behind me, you can see that when it comes to fire risk mitigation, active fire management is necessary by all and handled by multiple agencies. We take this very seriously. An additional service provided by the fire department is the undertaking of an abatement program that's occurring right now in Belmont, where we are assessing the hazards with a focus on open spaces not owned by individuals only, but those spaces that are commercial, residential, private, publicly owned, such as Water Dog Park and the San Juan Canyon. Freedom is public safety. Now, public parks are the heart of our neighborhoods. They are our outdoor living rooms, and they have always been an essential and important attribute to Belmont, where all are welcome. Last year, we finally finished the Dayyeh Glen Park, and now this council, along with the Belmont Park Boosters, has dedicated funds and energy to making big improvements to O'Donnell Park and the Homeview neighborhood, and they're poised to begin early in April. This is another great example of the city and the closely impacted community led by such people as Gina Latrimelo and Caroline Prize, working together to figure out what works best for this area. And I'm pleased to announce that with the help of Foster City Rotary and San Mateo High's Impact Club, the current playground will not go to a recycling facility, but will be dismantled, refurbished, and installed in Klamath, California at another playground later this month. As I've stated before, the moment you stop planning is the moment you're left behind. The successful Twin Pines Master Plan represents another strategic investment for our future to protect the natural habitat that will be an anchor to our future town center that we're all going to work hard to make happen, right? We now have a document that we can use to apply for grants, create future partnerships like those within the Belmont Creekside Watershed Study, and a plan where we can do a little at a time to revitalize the Central Park Gym. Lastly, evaluating the feasibility and the uses of a new Belmont Community Center started with the launch of the online survey March the 1st. Please let your voice be heard. In fact, we have an iPad back there where you can take the survey so we can accurately assess the will of the community. I personally would love to see an intergenerational space with active and passive areas, a place where you can play a pickup game of basketball with your neighbors or meet a friend for a game of chess. I know we all have a lot of wants, so please let it be known. Now, in creating our roadmap to the future, we turn to our neighbors throughout the city on their porches, in their kitchens, backyards, and businesses. The resounding message is that Belmont is ready to reignite the American dream for all, ready to turn challenges into opportunities. We're ready to jumpstart our local economy. We're ready to protect our environment, and we're ready to improve our public spaces and infrastructure, all the while innovating for tomorrow. We are ready for businesses in Belmont. In short, we're ready for the future. I requested that Autobahn Mercedes dealership be the site for my State of the City address. This space is emblematic of the changes happening in our community, where a proud past leads to a promising future. I was a planning commissioner when this project was first introduced, and some were sad to see those iconic swirl of the wall go away, but I was excited to see this new and fresh look. Winston Churchill said that buildings create who we are. The evolution of this building represents the changing positive business landscape by making a sleek, connected, and empowering statement. Economic development drives the upward trajectory of our smart growth and improved infrastructure. Today, we're ushering in new businesses and exciting ventures. We have approved two new hotels that will generate much needed TOT, and every car sold on this spectacular showroom floor equals money into Belmont's general fund in the form of sales tax revenue. To ensure that we are complementing existing businesses in Belmont, we are evaluating such things as the business sign ordinance and fees to ensure that regulation is fair and supportive for the business community. Do you remember the faded, weathered sign at the Firehouse Square site? It was a painful reminder of an aging city and a lack of forward movement. Under this council's leadership, we are actively taking steps to make a difference and evaluate smart projects worthy for our community that brings needed revenue to meet our needs. Now, let me be clear. I want City Hall and city leaders to be focused on a bold and vibrant future for our great city. But our first responsibility is to ensure the nuts and bolts of funding city services, public safety, and infrastructure maintenance. These are all very much important, and they're completed in every budget cycle. But because of our size, our geography, and our land uses, Belmont will always need to be fiscally responsible and exceedingly thoughtful about how we use our land and our resources. But that's not to say that we can't dream big and have a go big or go home attitude toward our future 10 or 20 or 30 years from now, which is why my final theme is reimagining the American dream. Belmont is ready to see implementation of the plans we've been working on for the past 5 years plus. Reimagining requires that we realize that we've planned to properly serve all residents and businesses. The first step of opportunity is civic financial security. We know that we must diversify our revenue sources to weather upcoming fiscal challenges and fund the changes we want. To this end, we're working with consultants and have begun meeting with business owners about vision and realistic expectations. Reimagining the American dream is also to diversify our housing needs. The lack of affordable housing options threatens the fabric of our community. Much of our population and housing growth occurred during the 1950s and 1960s, so nearly 90% of our housing stock is over 30 years old, with the majority being single-family detached home, whose median sale cost is now close to a whopping $1.8 million, which is considerably up from $800,000 10 years ago when many of us came, I think, here in this room. We have 59% owners and 41% renters. Today, 40.6% of renters spend 35% or more of their income on rent. Let those numbers sink in. This is not sustainable. This is a vulnerability for a sizable portion of our residents. And think about all the other necessities these folks need, like health costs, and those who have food insecurities, necessitating places like Samaritan House or your local church, so rents can be paid while still having a hot meal. While some believe we're approaching build-out and current land use configurations in our small city, I believe that there's still revitalization and redevelopment opportunities to the creative eye, and we all need to be creative together to make space. Recently, we reached a milestone in Belmont housing by completing the first multi-unit, multi-family residential project under our new corridor mixed-use zoning along the El Camino Real. And I also believe it's the first residential project of this size, which is 73 units, approved in the last 15 years in Belmont. 15 years. The Ashton is a spectacular addition to the landscape of our city, and it's the revitalization of the El Camino Real corridor. However, we need more housing for all incomes that are appropriately located within walking distance of the Caltrain and the Samtrans station. The Ashton Project by Saris Regis has provided the city of Belmont with $1.6 million in affordable housing impact fees and $1.9 million in park impact fees. We will use these funds to partner with affordable housing developers to build new affordable homes near transit at such possible places as Firehouse Square and Hill Street. Imagine 100% affordable housing for folks. We all need it. They need it. We need to see how to make that happen. The mix of units in Ashton, in particular, will allow first-time homeowners to live in Belmont and provide our empty nesters an opportunity to downsize, but still remain in the community that they love and have helped to build. I'm proud to serve on a city council that has an unwavering commitment to preserving our neighborhoods by increasing access to home ownership, preventing displacement so people can age in place, and promoting fair and equitable housing access. And we're doing our part in Belmont to reduce the job housing imbalance in San Mateo County, which contributes to all the traffic we love, right? And the high cost of housing. While this is a win, it's only a start to meeting the varying needs, and there's much that we need to do. Another important puzzle piece in reimagining the American dream is improving our public spaces by creating spaces that put people first and is vibrant year-round. Placemaking is not just the act of building or fixing up a space, but a process that fosters the creation of vital public destinations, the kind of places where people feel a strong stake in their communities and a commitment to make things better. Simply put, we want to capitalize on our local economy's existing assets, inspiration, and potential to ultimately create a good public space that promotes people's health, happiness, and well-being. The city has started this by the utility box art that you see throughout the city, the street light pole replacement project with future seasonal banners along Ralston on its way, and a pocket park installation to activate a space that sits desolate and lifeless. This is coming. In the coming month, we'll also celebrate the creation of a pop-up poetry walk in the nearby park with our poet laureate. In reimagining our city, we are evaluating our gateways to improve their appearance and look at future branding for the city to further economic development. Today, our vision statement says we're an arts hub. Are we still this place, or are we more? Are we better suited to capitalize on other assets and other attributes? We are on track to also create a public art master plan where we'll pursue grants and we'll continue our preliminary discussions with large cities like San Jose to see how smaller cities and larger cities can partner to bring art to all. Just think, we have 17.9% of right-of-way land that in some, not all instances, can either be beautified or activated. We as a city understand that emotional, cultural, and economic value of art and culture, investing in art, makes our community more vibrant. It spurs economic growth, and it furthers our pursuit of social and economic justice. One day, I look forward to the creation of a Belmont Arts, Culture, and Innovation Commission. But until then, if you have any ideas, please send them onward, because it's those creative, thoughtful ideas of two Belmont residents who painted the wooden birds along the fence of the Barrett Community Center that we pass all the time. We are always looking for ideas. In fact, it starts with an idea. Belmont is ready to reimagine the American dream by introducing innovation as an imperative and playing its part in embracing sustainable living to protect our environment for generations to come. I was inspired earlier this year by the Volkswagen Group Electronics Research Lab's 20th anniversary, where I represented the city and congratulated them on their achievements. They are a global vehicle electronics expert, developing technologies for future generation vehicles. And they have the largest research facility right outside of Germany. Can you believe that this is in Belmont? It was amazing to see behind the scenes of how they're working, and it's just here east of the 101. They are changing the face of mobility for the world, and it started with an idea. Here's one I'm going to speak from the heart about, and it's climate change. It's one that's very important, and when I talk about climate change, I talk about sea level rise, I talk about the future, I talk about my daughter's future and what we should do to just reduce waste. I sit on the Rethink Waste Board, and garbage is about to cost us a lot of money. So what can we do on our end to reduce those wastes? And I make a plea and a challenge to all of you to think about what you can do in your own world, in your own realm, just to reduce a little bit of your impact and your carbon footprint. Like Ralston Avenue, the road to success is always under construction. However, there is definitely light at the end of the tunnel. The strength of our city is in its spirit. And this was displayed most recently in the Belmont Run, led by Stephanie Davies. 3+ years in the making, I heard, by numerous people, and with folks like Indy and you, our police department, the chamber, council member Doug Kim. In fact, almost every Belmont-connected person in this room made contributions. That is our strength. It is our shared values. It's our trust in our neighbors, capable and dedicated citizens, caring and compassionate service organizations, and a vision filled with hopes and dreams. Now is the time for all of us to come together, to turn our dreams and aspirations into reality by protecting the things we hold dear, but moving forward to make things happen and innovate for the longevity of the city. I'm honored to be your mayor and eager to work with each one of you to move Belmont forward for all residents and businesses. Let's elevate together and realize our destiny, because coming together, working together, succeeding together, it all starts with an idea.